Hiya Hinsters, happy Tuesday due day and happy Virgo season. Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new, welcome to. I'm a spiritual astrologer. And if you're interested in a reading with me, birth chart reading, or you just have a question that you want the answers from through astrology, or a Saturn Return reading, something like that, check out the description box below. And as it is now Virgo season, Virgos and Virgo risings get 50% off my rate all Virgo season. And also you can book a reading for a Virgo loved one with the same discount. And as always, if this video resonates, do give it a thumbs up. And if you like what I do, please subscribe to the channel. I do now have over 1,000 subscribers. Yay. And I'm super happy with this and appreciate your support and all your comments, which I will get back to when I'm not at work and busy. So anyway, this video today is a bit of a belated catch-up as I personally, as we sometimes do, got quite swept up by these transits. But we are going to talk a little bit about Venus ingressing or entering Libra. By the way, you can check out my other Venus videos in my Streams of Creme Brulee playlist, where we look at Venus going through all the signs. Venus was in Virgo previously and then Leo before that. So you can check that out to get an idea of Venus's sort of narration. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the latest full moon in Aquarius. Of course, we're still riding the energies of the full moon. We did have, to start with Venus officially ingressing Libra on around August 16th. And this transit lasts until around September 11th, 2021. I think one of the first things to note about this Venus in Libra transit is that Venus is now leading the pack, so to speak. Just as Mars has been for quite a few months. And not only that, but Venus is leading the pack in a sign that Venus is said to be very comfortable in, or in its domicile in, which is the cardinal air sign Libra. So in one sense, this won't be too different to Mars's leading of the pack this year, which, as I've been saying on my channel, hasn't really been a bad Martian experience. That Mars has been relatively calm and more or less focused for us, or could so easily have been focused for us since its long retrograde back in Aries, which started, around September 2020, a year ago, basically. So Venus being the vibe, being the flow, being the ceremony of things, and having just come out of Virgo, gives us potentially this very new or refined sense of having perfected some kink in our mechanics. And we may have been able to finally get something straight. And so, yes, now will, for some of us, rush many beautiful and pleasant people and things, or these things will be easier to attract with Venus transiting Libra. But also, we're riding a more serious energy with Venus in Libra. One, it's cardinal energy. It's also an outward energy, a light energy, if you want to say, or use that word, but it's one which takes relationships and relating seriously. One which also, for some of us again, involves positions and experiences of leadership and initiation. Cardinal energy again, which attracts that particular side of Libra sometimes, which is friendly but firm, which even can be, cruel to be kind, which sometimes is both, easy on the eye and incredibly intelligent, intellectual. So these sorts of things can really increase or crop up for some of us. But more specifically for this year's Venus in Libra transit, you know, the tone is also set by Venus's trine to the retrograding Jupiter in Aquarius. A trine, very, very briefly, being one of the best sort of aspects, being a very magical aspect, being an aspect, all aspects are magical, but being an aspect where something is just such a given or so easy to tap into or unlock. If we so choose. But yes, Venus is trine to the retrograding Jupiter in Aquarius when Venus was entering Libra. So I've been seeing how this is allowing us to uncharismatically or unpredictably and maybe quite boldly and majorly in some sense be in support of or be fair toward people and things that are being cast out or cast aside or bullied or ganged up on, that kind of thing. In this, also in this overarching metal ox year, we are kind of letting go of things more and letting things go more over our heads. You know, drama, I think a lot of us are getting really good at this now, you know, just letting things wash over. It's very necessary and it's very easy and natural for us to do this now. But, you know, drama not phasing us that much. I'm not saying that it's never going to happen, right? But it doesn't phase us that much, or it can so easily not phase us that much this year. And we are able to reason with things like rebellion and see the silver lining in people's decisions, specifically in people's quote unquote bad decisions, in our own quote unquote bad decisions. There's this, I think, random rationality that can come through, and Jupiter really goes deep here, retrograding in Aquarius, helping us relate to things not in a judgmental way, but in a way that can learn from who and what we are relating to in a kind of genius or progressive way, or in a breakthrough, in a breaking out kind of way as well for some of us. And then, yes, later, which was around August 22nd, we had, still having the very intense full moon in Aquarius, which was at 29 degrees, or the anaretic degree, which in itself is an Aquarian energy, 29, a kind of bursting, extreme energy, the anaretic degree. And you can check out my general video, by the way, on new and full moons, where I talk a bit more about full moons typically being culminations of one kind or another. And, you know, for many of us, this full moon represents a closing or confirmation of something that was already stirring around 2 months ago. And 2 months ago, roughly, we had another full moon in Aquarius, right? And in the middle of that, we had a new moon in Leo. So this new moon in Leo was stuck in between these two unusual full moons in the same sign in Aquarius. There was, for many of us, a sense of something having to be sacrificed, something having to give, and a very intense feeling of its own, kind of in the middle of those two full moons. A kind of pushing out of the heart, a dedication for some of us was in the middle of that. A bravery was wedged in the middle of these two full moons. With also Jupiter conjunct this full moon in Aquarius, it's only amplified the experience, I think, whether, you know, we're having a good or a bad experience, or more likely, you know, a big mix of good and bad. And almost certainly this full moon has had to do with our relationships and or the way we relate or the way we judge, because during this time, Venus in Libra was trining Saturn in Aquarius, Saturn being the host of this Aquarian full moon. So Venus actually played quite a big role, I feel, in this full moon. And I think it's really telling to see which house in the birth chart this full moon has occurred in for us. So to look at your birth chart and to see, because one or more of that house's themes will probably be screaming at us right now. It can't be ignored. And with all this major retrograde energy, it's also almost certain that we've been here before with this theme. And Of course, there's also been the typical full moon things, but I think they've been a bit more amplified thanks to Jupiter. So, or emphasized or revisited thanks to a full moon being again in the same sign. Uh, so like more breakups, more people passing away. And on a collective level, I even think now of Afghanistan and on what's culminated there at this particular moment. And according to astrotheme.com, the natal chart of Afghanistan puts 29 degrees of Aquarius, where this full moon was exactly, in the fourth house of Afghanistan, which is the house of home, of roots, of spiritual bedrock, also conjuncting Afghanistan's natal part of fortune and Afghanistan's north node natally. And also, Venus in real time currently is making its way to a conjunction with Afghanistan's fourth house ruler, which is Saturn, which natally for Afghanistan is in the 12th house, the 12th house of losses, the 12th house of things like isolation, the 12th house of bad spirit. And so Venus, a benefic planet, is, I don't know if it's in Afghanistan's 12th house right now, but it's about to at least enter and approach Saturn, the fourth house ruler for Afghanistan. So maybe this benefic planet is going to introduce some more Venusian elements to the story, the experience, the spirit of Afghanistan. And this conjunction exactly takes place around September 4th. So it might be interesting to see what this Venusian transit does mean for Afghanistan. Anyway, I think I'll leave this little video at that, but do let me know in the comments, any of your experiences around this full moon in Aquarius. I was kind of laughing at myself on this full moon as one of the guests at one of the places I work at. He came in randomly, Aquarius, on his way to a wedding reception and quite drunk already and very nervous. And he simply asked for tap water and I gave him some and he offered me a tip, but I kind of declined because it didn't really feel right, to be tipped for tap water. Anyway, we had a little chat about how he was the best man and so on. And he kept asking for more jugs of this tap water, which I brought. And then shortly after drinking it, all of it, like 3 or 4 jugs of tap water, he was just gone. So I was literally like bearing water on a full moon in the sign of the water bearer. And sometimes astrology, plays out in such funny ways. That's what I was thinking. But anyway, I'm wishing all the Hinsters a beautiful week and we'll be seeing you soon in my next video. Comment with your full moon stories below and let's exchange. So with love and stay safe and well. I love you very much. Mwah.